To start, shape a little bit of aluminum foil or even styrofoam in the shape of the body. To help you, use the template as a guideline. Just make sure you have a smooth surface, because it will be easier to smooth also the modeling chocolate. For the structure I used 2 floral wires, these ones are 18, and it will be enough to hold everything on place. I'm going to use modeling chocolate. I'm using the white version, and since my inspiration is green, I'm going to color it with a little bit of gel color. Play around with the green, blue, yellow, if necessary a little bit of brown, so you can have the color that you desire. You will need 100 grams of modeling chocolate for the body. Use a rolling pin to help you just roll it out and wrap around your aluminum foil or your styrofoam. With the help of your fingers or even with the rolling pin, smooth everything out. Just make sure you have an invisible junction. If you have extremely hot hands, make sure that you do this quite quickly or stop meanwhile, so it can chill a little bit and set, and it will be easier to work. Use the template as a guideline so you can follow the shape of your character. I always use a reference as a guideline. It will help me a lot to achieve the desired shape and maintain all the main aspects that you want to reproduce. Now I'm going to start making the legs. You don't need a specific amount, just roll it like a kind of a sausage. And you shape around that, and if necessary, because something good about the modeling chocolate, you can add volumes and smooth everything out, so you don't need to make a specific size. If you find it's too big, you can cut a little bit, and if you find it's too small, you can add and smooth everything out. Insert the wire on the body and work a little bit on the junctions. You can do it with your fingers or with the help of a tool. I prefer to work with modeling tools like this one I'm using. This is a Dresden tool in one side and a kind of a bone or something smoother and round on the other edge, and it's metal, and since it's metal, it's cold, and it will help you set everything. Take your time working on the junctions. They are important, and you want to smooth everything out and make sure that it's invisible. And it's easier to do that with modeling chocolate than with modeling paste or even regular sugar paste. So take your time, work on that. If you have hot hands, make sure that you let it set for a while, or it will become extremely shiny and very difficult to work. Take your time doing this part. It's important to have an invisible junction. It will be easier to do with modeling chocolate, you'll see. I love working with modeling chocolate. Well, I struggle a little bit because my hands are extremely hot and sometimes it becomes a little bit shiny, but nothing that you can work out in the end with a little bit of dust, so no stress at all. The good part of the modeling chocolate, you can add volumes and smooth everything out, and it will be perfect by the end. Now let's work on the hands and also on the arms. I'm doing both of them at the same time. You just need a little bit of paste, roll it down like a sausage and left one part bigger so you can shape the hand. Using a modeling tool, cut a small portion and work a little bit on the thumb, and then you are going to cut the other fingers. Just work a little bit with your fingers and with your tool, round it a little bit, and since he has the hands closed, you don't need to waste too much time on this part. Shape them and leave them in the final position to dry and to set a little bit. I decided to defy a little bit the gravity and didn't use any structure in the arms, but if you feel more safe about it, use a wire, a smaller and thinner wire to make the structure of the arms. For the feet, You start with the ball, shape it into a pear shape, and then work a little bit on the toes using the modeling tool. Shape, round, and smooth. Smooth. I think this is one of my favorite words in English. Smooth. It is just so smooth. Well, just kidding a little bit. So as soon as you finish with your feet and you are happy with them, you can start attaching them to your topper, to your character. I used a little bit of the modeling chocolate just to work the junctions and to make it everything more harmonious and smooth. I'm working on top of a styrofoam piece because I find it easier to hold it and to shape, and going around and around. In a real cake it will be harder and probably you could mess up everything. Let's start working in another details and let's begin with the mouth. Let's open the mouth. I just shape it. I use the Dresden tool just to make sure that I was doing them in the right position. And then I'm starting opening with the modeling tools, smooth everything out. Leave space for all the details, the lips, the teeth and everything. Use your fingers, use the rolling pin, use the modeling tools, work out the shape, use the image as a reference and make sure that you put everything on place and smooth everything. If you feel you have some place without volume and you need more volume, add a little bit of the modeling chocolate and work on the junctions. And if you feel you have too much, just cut and smooth the surface. After shaping and being okay with the base of the body, you can add the other details. I'm going to start with the eyes. I just rolled a little bit of modeling paste, white modeling paste, and just attach to the body. If you feel that it's not sticky enough, you can use a little bit of glue or water to wet the surface and then just attach the modeling paste and smooth the surface. Try out. If you feel it's too big, just remove a little bit of the paste. If you feel it's too small, put a little bit more, okay? And it's cute and it's funny if you do the different size of the eyes. Since I put one bigger than the other one, it will give some character and a facial expression to it. And since he's looking up to the bat that it's over his head, it's kind of amazed by it. So I decided to play a bit with the eyes. Add modeling chocolate for the eyelids. Once more, work on the junctions and repeat the step for the other eye. Add as many details you want and you feel it's funny, you can add some hair. You can also add some puffiness under the eyes and a bigger lips and even a nose. Even if I didn't use a nose in my character, you can put a nose in yours. I bet it will be funny. And if you do something inspired in this tutorial, please share and tag me so I can see it. I love to see what you are doing, what you are up to. For the ears, I used 2 small portions of modeling chocolate in the shape of a teardrop, and I just added to the body. Since it's a monster, it doesn't have a neck. The body is the same as the head, so it's a funny character. I hope you are enjoying it. I confess, I loved everything about this guy. I loved making him, creating him. It was funny. I was smiling all the time. I love Halloween, but I also love cute stuff. And I decided to make 2-in-1, something creeping cute. Funny and cute at the same time, but since it's a monster, it's Halloweenish. Well, keep adding some details. I love working with modeling chocolate. See, I just put a little bit of modeling chocolate there Put something underneath so it can set with the position that you want, and after a few minutes you can remove everything and it's on place. Just be careful not to force it or bang it or it will break, okay? But it doesn't need any structure. Just let it rest on the final position, and as soon as it's chill out, and it will be set. The more details you add to it, the more time you spend with him, the cooler it will look. Now I'm working with a little bit of modeling paste, white modeling paste, to make the horns and also the teeth. I hope I said it right. So add them to your topper, to your funny monster. You can use a little bit of water to glue, like I said before, or since I have hot hands, I just need to rub it a little bit and it will be sticky enough to hold everything on place. So put some nails, add as many details as you wish. The more details you add, the more rich it will look, as I said. For the lips, you can do a kind of a sausage, a pointy sausage, and add to the face, to the body. And also you can put some cheeks so it looks like he's smiling. So even being a monster is a nice monster. Starting looking really cool. I'm very happy with him. And after working on the lips and every details, we are going to finally attach the arms that now they are completely set and firm, so you just need to glue. If you find them they are a little bit heavy, you can add a toothpick or something to make sure that it stays on place. Once more, work on the junctions, smooth everything out, make invisible junctions. If you find easier, you can add a tiny little bit of water and rub it, and it will help a lot. Final details that I'm going to add, it's a kind of a scales that I glued directly on the tail and on the back of the body. And we are almost there. Just a few details more. For example, the pupils. Use two small black modeling paste, two small balls, and flat them down. I decided to put him looking up since he has the bat over his head, and I also decided to add a little bit more details on the mouth. After that, we are ready to start painting and making our cute little bat. Since I want him to be defying gravity, I decided to make a small structure to hold everything on place and make sure that he was like a kind of levitating, flying over the head of our monster. So I started using two wires. They are thin wires, like 24, 26, so it will be easier and pliable to shape them, but also will hold the bat on place. Secure everything with a little bit of fluoro tape and then start rolling a little bit of gray sugar paste or modeling paste to make the wings. You can use the reference to help you in this process. Use a modeling tool to cut the excess or even some cutters to help you to achieve the desired shape, and the wings are ready and we can start working on the body. Decided to use modeling paste for this part, but you can also do it with modeling chocolate, but it's a small detail and I want it to be dried and easier to shape, and since I have hot hands with modeling chocolate, it will be extremely hard for me to do it. It is very small, so you just need small portions so the wire also can hold it on place. You don't need nothing for the inside, not even aluminum foil or styrofoam, because it's really light. Use the modeling tools to help you to achieve some facial expressions. Cut small triangles for the teeth and add them with a tiny little bit of water. If it's getting too sticky or even losing the shape, you can also use some cornstarch to make a kind of a nest so it can rest and set and dry a little bit. Use the modeling tools to help you because it's very small and sometimes your fingers get in the way or just deform everything. For the ears, use two teardrop shapes, small pieces of fondant or modeling paste, glue them to the top of the head and smooth the junctions, and it's ready. Then you can attach to the wings. Let it rest so it can set and get a little bit more firm, so it will be easier to paint and to attach to our monster. Now we're going to start painting. I'm using the food colors, the dust colors, and I dissolve them with a little bit of clear extract. You can also use vodka or food grade alcohol, any clear beverage, or even water to make the painting. Just dissolve your food color. You want it quite dissolved, so it will have that kind of watery effect, watercolor effect. So put a lot of alcohol or extract, add a tiny little bit of the food color, and just start painting your little guy. I used a darker tone of green and pink to make kind of a blush and some shadows on the darker parts, so it will have more volume, more movement. Just play a little bit, and since it's a watery paint, if you find that some places you just added too much, you can clean it out before it dries completely. Play around, add as many colors as you wish. It will give more details to your monster and it will look like more alive. I normally do all my toppers in a styrofoam base and let them set and dry completely before attaching to the cake. I think it's easier, and since it's completely dry, you can hold it on your hands without messing everything. So just make sure you let it dry completely before you hold it, especially because we are using this kind of technique to make the painting. We are wetting him, so you can see it's really shiny at this moment, but after it's completely set, it's completely dried, it will become opaque. Add darker shades, darker tones to the indentations and all the depressions, so it will add more volume. I worked a little bit with brown and dark green and some black also, with a lot of alcohol or the extract, so it will be like a dirty water, just to add some shadows. Do the same for the bat. Work with similar colors, darker gray, black, pink, and that's it. Put some shadows to the darker parts, and you can also add some highlights with a tiny little bit of white. Even being tiny and small, the more colors, the more details you add, the more cool and amazing it will look. Oh, he's so freaking cute. I love him so much. Don't forget the dots, the white dots on the eyes. It makes a lot of difference. And it's done. Now we just need to attach to our little monster. To be easier, I just poke a hole to insert the structure, and then I work a little bit on the junction to make sure that I had a pointy horn and it was in the right position, and voila, it's done. And now it's time to make our plaque. Happy Halloween plaque. I decided to work with chocolate and make a kind of handmade, handcrafted chocolate transfer. So I started using a acetate bag and write it over with a permanent ink pen, the Happy Halloween. I flip it over and using melted cocoa butter and some food colors, dust food colors, black food colors, and a thin paintbrush, I just painted over the Happy Halloween in mirror format, so when I flip it over it will be the right position. Just write it down, if necessary make a second or third coat. Dry it. If you find that there are some places that you don't like, you just can remove it, just scratch a little bit and it will easily come out. Melt your chocolate, and as soon as it's reached the correct temperature, just put it over the transfer and let it set for a while. If you like, you can cut while it's a little bit pliable with a modeling tool or with a knife and let it set completely so you can attach to your cake. For the drip, I decided to make water ganache. You will need 100 grams of melted chocolate and 20 milliliters of warm water. Just mix it together and you can also color it. I played a little bit with the blue and the yellow and even a little bit of white to make exactly the green that I wanted. It was the mustard green, so almost like if it was melting or drooling over the cake. Put on the piping bag so it will be easier to control where the drip and how long the drip you want. You can also use a spatula. I like to use offset spatula. It will be easier to smooth and cover the rest. After doing the drip, you can attach your plaque using the drip as a glue. Make sure that you leave it to set a little bit so it will be sticky. It doesn't fall. After that, you just need to attach your topper to the cake and it's done. Oh, I love it so much. It's so freaking cute. It's a cool Halloween cake. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I really want to see your creations. Don't forget to tag me if you do anything inspired in this tutorial. See you soon and happy Halloween!